Okay, this equipment is the first instance of an equipment that raises magic defense, as you can see there. It makes it go from 8 magic defense to 10. Or does it? Or does it? Look. Now, my magic defense is 24. And you can see that, right? So I am just gonna go here and keep the 4 slots, which changes my magic defense. Remember, what was my magic defense before? 24? Well, still 24. That didn't work at all, because on the PS1 version and on the very first PC version, equipment that raises magic defense don't work. So it just doesn't raise it. There's no reason to keep the 4 slots now, because you don't have to look at the magic defense increase. It doesn't work if you're playing on the PS1 version or the very first PC version. So it's basically inferior in any other way to the Mithril Armlet. It does have 4 slots, but for materia. But seriously, why would I even? Not doing it. So that was what I was talking about a few episodes ago about the magic defense bug. The magic defense on your status is purely based on the spirit stat. Equipments do not increase it or lower it for enemies. You cannot modify that. It's a fun glitch, but it's highly possible that I'll be able to show it to you right off the bat. Or actually, yes. Let's see. This guy. Oh, I can show you the glitch. Okay, that's great. This guy. He's called Adamantaimai. It's a turtle that all he does, he never attacks unless you attack it first. If you attack it, it counters with his own attack, but normally he never attacks. All he does, he will cast Barrier and Barrier on itself, and then it will stand there doing nothing. But if you are quick enough and you can cast Big Guard on it, there's a glitch in the AI that will... He will try to cast Cure, but he won't be able to, so this happens. Well, first he tries to counterattack, because he always counterattacks when you do something on him. So he tries to cast Cure, and this happens. Data error. Scene blah blah code, and push L1 R1 select for reset. So you do that, and you end up back in the world map. It's just a funny thing that you can do. This only happens on the PlayStation 1 and the original PC version. If you try doing it on the Steam version, the game is just gonna freeze, and you'll end up with Final Fantasy VII stopped working message. But it's funny that you can do it on PlayStation 1. It'll actually display an error message, which is something pretty uncommon. So the reason why the error message happens is because he tries to cast Cure, but he doesn't have a Cure, so the game tries, and the reason why he casts Cure is because, for some reason, the game checks on the first turn if he has Barrier and Barrier, and if he has it, I mean, if he doesn't have Barrier and Barrier, he casts Barrier and then Barrier. But if on the first turn he has them, the game doesn't know what to do. It doesn't have anything on the script. So when the game doesn't know what to do, it defaults to the 0 ID magic, which happens to be Cure. So the game tries to cast Cure, but the enemy doesn't have an animation for Cure, and then it flips out. Basically, what you can do is you input W item, and suppose, I don't know, explosion, right? What you can do is you can select explosion, select a target, select another explosion, and you're supposed to select the second target. But if you cancel out, then you choose, then you cancel out, then you choose, then you cancel out. Now look, I have 18. I choose, I cancel out, I have 19. I choose, I cancel out, 20. Choose, cancel out, 21. Circle X, circle X, circle X, and can do that over and over. You can do this pretty fast. And it doesn't take long before. Bada bing bada boom, I have 99 explosion from 19 that I have. It took what? 35 seconds or something. You can do this with every item you can use in battle. Potion explosions, ether, turbo ether, elixirs and mega elixirs. Yeah, you can do this with elixirs and mega elixirs, look. Oh, I'm still multiplying explosions. Because what you multiply is the first item you select. So if I select, for example, mega elixir, okay, then I go down, select the soft. The soft isn't going up. The mega elixirs are going up. Yep, I have 33 mega elixirs. Then you can just cancel out and be on your merry way. You can multiply everything you can see here, everything you can see that's lighten up. Hero drinks are insane. You can multiply those, and those are incredibly great because they power up your characters basically for the remaining fight. And now hero drink, vaccine. Oops. I can do this all day. No problem at all. So you have now we have infinite of everything you can see here. We have an infinite supply because we can multiply those. Okay, but enough of that. Let's go back to the battle. This place we haven't seen yet. You can find this place by going left at the blizzard place where there's the snowstorm, and there's this elixir here, but that for some reason it's so bugged that the text box does not disappear when you pick it up. So you have this task box and it does not disappear. You can just go back. Go back. You just go out, go in, take the elixir, go back, out, go back in, take another one. You can keep repeating this. It's only when you close the text box with circle that the item in the cave disappears. But since the item is registered in the inventory before when you interact with the item, and not when you close the text box, that happens. You have to fight Reno and Rude here. And Rude has a nice steal from you. It's worth trying for it. And Rude has used ice too? That's great! The reason why I say that's great is because there is a little bug in Rude's AI. I believe it works in the Steam version. I don't know if it works here. I never actually checked. Midgar first and start stealing from him. Basically, if Rude uses anything other than a shoulder attack or a basic physical, he doesn't act at all for the rest of the fight. Okay. Okay. Boom. Look, he's standing still, he's not doing anything. He's not doing anything. Because he uses ice too. And if he uses ice too, or something else than a basic physical, he just can't act anymore for some reason. So the Midgar Raid skip, it's a skip that involves a glitch, and what it does is that you skip everything after Diamond Weapon defeat from Hojo, the battle with Hojo at the end of Disc 2. It works on any version of Final Fantasy VII. This isn't the Steam version, but you can do it in the PlayStation one if you want to, or the PS4, it doesn't matter. So, how do you do this? Well, first, this is a save file in which I saved right after defeating Diamond Weapon. So now we'll have the scene about what's happening in Midgar, and the next thing we're supposed to do, we're supposed to go to Midgar, paracute from above, and do all that part. But we can skip all of that. We can go directly to the Hojo boss fight, directly. And all you gotta do is press 2 buttons. And it's not even that hard, so what you have to do now is to check Northern Cave and a cutscene will trigger. Okay, I'm gonna skip out of dialogue, but what you need to do is you have to hold right and X in a certain point, and I'll tell you when that is. And that triggers a loading zone, because Even though Cloud is not in the scenes, like in the cutscenes here, he still is. It's just he's invisible and he cannot move. But he can move in this one. It's just you cannot see it. You cannot see Cloud, but he is around here somewhere, and you can actually move him. But if you hold right and X, you can move him into a loading zone, which triggers the battle with auto. I'll tell you when that is. So you should. So yeah, I'll tell you how it works for me. So I have to look for Reeve. The clue is when Reeve raises his hand the first time. There we go. So now I start holding it. I'm holding right and X at this time, and then when he raises his hand the second time to call somebody else on the phone, the battle is triggered. Like around here, right now. That should trigger it. There we go. So now we're holding. We are still invisible because we're supposed to be in a cutscene. So we're supposed to be invisible. But you see, nothing's wrong here. Dialogue is the same. He's just gonna speak to us like we were there. And in fact, we are there. We're just invisible. Blah blah blah. He's gonna speak. Everything is gonna play out as normal. You just skip all the mission. Skip all of it. And then the fight starts and everything will go as normal. I'll show you. The fight starts normally. Blah blah blah. Sephiroth, all that things. Yeah, the battle starts. Here we are. Perfectly normal. Nothing wrong here. And the game will continue to play out as normal like that. The only bad thing that the glitch does, and you miss the missing score and the HP shot, which are unique. You cannot find them anywhere else. And probably a bunch of other weak weapons. The W item you can still get because you can dig it up in Bone Village. But missing score and HP shot, and even the Ragnarok, if you're interested in it, it's missed forever. You cannot get it anywhere else. So this is a glitch that's very fun to do, and is in no way damages the game or anything. Okay, so the glitch is this. Whenever Vincent uses Mug and has something, I mean, he has a rifle type weapon equipped. Like, for example, the death penalty, the sniper CR, all those rifles. It works with all the rifles. Something very weird happens. The animation after the Mug, the animation of the next thing going on, happening after the Mug, is entirely skipped. I'm gonna show you how it works. So I'm gonna use Demi to give me a little bit of time. Then I'm gonna use Mug. Oh, unless it kills the enemy. Hopefully it won't kill the enemy, but I think it will. Then I'm gonna summon Knights of the Round. Oh, this will probably kill the enemy though. Okay, so how it works, it's this. The way it works is that after Mog, whatever happens right after Mog, whatever attack or anything, the animation of that is entirely skipped, but it happens anyway. So for example, Mog, when I summon Knights of the Round, if I did everything correctly, Daniel will Mug, and then I will lose the MPs, and I won the battle somehow. And the enemies are still there because there are no animations. The animation was skipped. So that was pretty sudden, but you can see. I'm gonna put the video here in slow motion. That after Mag, Pharaoh lost 2,000 MPs to cast Knights of the Round. But we didn't see that because we used Mag before, so the animation of the Knights was entirely skipped. So then the battle ends, and we don't even see the animation of the enemies getting killed. Which is pretty fun. It's pretty fun, you can do this. Pretty much everywhere. With every enemy, it works. You can skip long animations like Knights of the Round. So yeah, that's how it works. basically, what you need, there are two characters, actually all characters can overflow, but the two characters that can overflow the easiest way are Nathaniel and Baracus, or Vincent and Barrett if you want to call them with their original names. So what is Overflow? Overflow is this, well, you can show that. Let's enter a random battle. So you can see it in action. Overflow is when you're doing so much damage that the game cannot handle it, and it ends up being negative. So when the damage is negative, the game is confused. Since you're doing negative damage, it tries to subtract the damage, but if you subtract the negative number, you end up adding it instead, so the enemy ends up with more HP than before. But there is a fail-safe mechanism that when that happens, the game kills the enemy for you. So let's see if that happens. You can see if the damage is very low. Yeah, for example, we are maxed out strength now. Nathaniel has max strength. He's maxed out. He does insane damage at this point. He shouldn't do that low damage. The numbers it pops out depends of the enemy that you're attacking. Sometimes the damage is just shown as random characters. Let's see this. Well, so basically all you gotta do is to build a character to make him doing the most damage possible. And there are mainly two ways to do this. One is Baracus, or Barrett, whatever you want to call him. He can overflow because his missing score deals damage based on the AP of the material that he has equipped on. If you equip many mastered Knights of the Round on his missing score, his damage will go very high. But the best character to overflow is Nathaniel or Vincent. Why is that? Well, Nathaniel or Vincent has the death penalty, and the death penalty has the special property that the more he kills, the more powerful he gets. It stops at 65,000 or so kills, because that's how much the game can handle, but it starts overflowing around 16,000 kills. If you're up for it, if you want to do that, if you want to have him kill 60,000 enemies, then you can overflow pretty easily. This file, I've edited the save file, so it killed 65,000 enemies. So his death penalty damage goes through the roof, basically. Also, remember that in order to overflow even easier, well, in this file he has maxed out stats. Strength, dexterity, vitality, all maxed out. Well, what's really important is strength. If your strength is maxed out, you're on. I mean, you're on. It's much easier with strength maxed out. It doesn't really matter what material you put in. I've put a bunch of speed pluses here and W item. If you attack and you don't overflow, it doesn't mean that you will never overflow. You can try using 4 hero drinks to power up the character even more. Or you can inflict Berserk. Well, you can do that in 2 ways. Either use the spell or use a Fury Ring. This automatically puts the character in Berserk. It deals more damage. It might miss more often, but well, whatever. It does a lot more damage when it's in Berserk. Or you can use Death Blow. The command Death Blow, which deals double damage. Try a combination of these, see what it works and what it doesn't, and when you found the right combination for overflow, it's very easy.